Okay, here we go. Let's give this a try. And of course, for some reason, my Stream Deck loves to just quit. So I'm not so sure what the deal is there, but I am going to. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Hopefully you're doing well. Thanks for stopping on by. And I'm gonna mute this. Sorry, everyone. All right, so we have lots going on here. Lots going on. Let's start with, what do I want to start with? Because I'm rerouting all my audio differently now to take advantage of the Behringer X32 core that I have running. So I'm gonna listen to. Let's see. I guess I need to figure out how all this is routed. I'm going to double check my audio one more time just to be sure. But what's really nice about this rig now is I have the ability. Okay, I can hear myself on there. All right, so step one is done. I can actually solo my voice through my headphones, and so that's really nice. And the delay is nothing like it is when you're trying to monitor things through vMix, because vMix has a fairly a bigger process delay. So it's nice to have that sorted. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is open vMix socials and try and get things going. If you're joining me on LinkedIn today, you can find me over at youtube.com/@JonoKnut, JONOKNEWT. And then you'll be able to join us in the chat there. Now I'm on YouTube, and I'm on, and I'm on Twitch as well. So JonoKnut over there as well. So if you want to join me there, you can also join in the chat there. I can see the LinkedIn chat, but it's only through StreamYard, and that's kind of how I'm funneling that out to LinkedIn right now. So hopefully we can get that kind of sorted. So let me take a look at what's going on in the chat. And I'm going to put this, I don't know, here, I guess. There we go. All right, so good to go. Hey, what is going on, Jeremy? Happy Thursday. Let me see if I've got, yeah, so my camera is close. It's not, that's not too bad, but this is normally what it is. I haven't moved my rig. I guess I could. But the other thing that's going on right now is my son is at home today. He was sick yesterday, and there's a 24-hour, he can't have a fever until he goes back to school. So that is why he's here. So we might hear from him soon. Are we calling this up close and personal with Jono? We could. Camera shot is tight. Yeah, I was sitting a little close. So I'll back off a bit. But I don't necessarily, there's nothing else really to look at in this room. So, hey, you just get me. That's all you get. There you go. What is going on? Also known as NetHab. Nobody here but us chickens. Hopefully you're doing well, Chad. Thanks for stopping by. Always appreciate that over on YouTube. And, yeah, okay. So lots changing all the time here. So now that I only do the show once a week, it changes, like my rig changes pretty fast. First thing first, though, is I had to learn how to get the video out of the external output into Brave, which is the browser I use. Come to find out there's permissions that you have to allow, and Brave, from what I can tell, only allows one USB style camera to be connected to it at any given time. So you have to go in and tell it vMix if that's the one you want to use in StreamYard, which is a problem because I'm going to use StreamYard for something else, and I don't use the vMix output for that show. I use just the EOS Utility Pro, which is what this camera is connected to through my rig. So I'm going to have to remember to change that every time I want to switch between, StreamYard outputs. But the reason for that is because I'm organizing a new show with the church leadership team that I work with, and we're gonna do kind of like a behind the scenes style video podcast, 1 hour every. Right now it's just listed for once a quarter, but it might be like once a month if it goes well, and I think it will. So we will kind of I'll produce that and then have a couple of people on the show to interview. So when that kicks off, I'll let you know. But that's another live stream that I'm starting to kind of put together and host with them. So that'll be a lot of fun. Okay, so that is that first element. And I'm using StreamYard for that show because we need to be able to kind of check in wherever we are, and we don't want to download vMix Caller and all that stuff. So we're going to use StreamYard. It's just a simple link click. Seems pretty consistent. You know, I've used StreamYard for many years, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. Hey, you can use NDI router with scan converter. Can you use NDI router with scan converter? So yes, any NDI source that is on your computer that your computer can receive or is generating can be sent through NDI router. And so if you're using scan converter to capture your screens, then, oh, and I need to kick that off because my poor computer. Screen capture HX as they say in Australia. All right, so you can use any NDI source that you have on your machine, local or otherwise on the network. You can route through NDI router. So that's super convenient. Not everybody is generating NDI yet, and so scan converter is kind of the only way to do that for capturing screens. But that is how, let's do this real quick. I'm just going to switch these screens. But that is how I'm able to do this. Why isn't my Stream Deck working? Something's up with Stream Deck. So that's how I'm able to share this screen and layer, right? Because I'm using scan converter. I'm bringing it into vMix as an NDI source. Works pretty well. I haven't had any major issues with it. This is the X32 interface, the computer interface that I've been doing all my like customizations. I'm used to like a board, right? I'm used to using an actual soundboard. So using it digitally without any faders or any buttons or anything is a little bit strange, but I'm getting the hang of it, I think. So that's always good. So that's how I'm able to do this. And I also need to load. Oh, you know why? You know why that is? So let's go and just. I don't have my Stream Deck app is not working. So we're gonna launch that. Wouldn't it be cool if you could just route the app that could do USB bus cameras plus NDI sources? Yes. I mean, that's what NDI, the other way is, right? If I'm understanding this correctly, the other way is NDI webcam. So you can bring any source that's a webcam source into vMix, for example. And so you could take all your NDI sources and convert them to USB. NDI webcam will let you do up to 4. And so you can convert them to, what is going on here? You can convert them to webcams and then just use them natively like that. So you could convert your USB the other way. Oh man, this is going to be really annoying. My profile just in Stream Deck just is blank. There's nothing. That's cool. That's real cool. So I got no buttons. Oh, you know why that is? Because I'm an idiot. That's why. Because I'm using Companion for that. So launch UI, Companion. And then, because this is, I'm using Companion to do all this, not Stream Deck. Boy, that was a moment of terror right there for a moment. Okay, so rescan for USB devices. It is listed here as one, but it's not powering up. That's weird. Rescan. It's probably because I'm out of USB drives. Oh, there it is. Stream Deck. Boom. Everything's on. So now, ooh, I forgot about this. All right, now I can solo the mix that's going to you guys, and I can hear it all. So I can wear headphones. There is a very slight delay. It's like listening to my voice as an echo. So I'm going to leave one ear off. And I don't necessarily need to have the mic mix, this one. I don't need to hear my microphone. I just need to hear the mix that's going out to you guys. So that's helpful. And I set that up on my own. So I will show you guys that in a second when we kind of get that. So unplug and replug in your Stream Deck. I messed up my Stream Deck after installing Companion. Yeah, because Companion wants to take control of it, right? Or you can find it in Companion. You can also go into the settings of Companion and tell it to reject all X keys devices or don't discover new Stream Decks, which is helpful. Because if you have multiple Stream Decks on the same machine, you don't necessarily want, like you want one to run in Companion, one to run in Stream Deck. So you can do that as well. But yeah, it surprises me that Stream Deck has, oh no, I'm sorry, Companion has in their app, it says like don't detect any more X keys devices. So they thought that through because they're like, what if there are multiple X keys devices? Well, that's helpful if you can ignore them, right? All right, so I can show a little bit of what I'm doing here. I'll try and show it to you. I will open up Companion and throw this up on the screen. And now my buttons are back. So this is Companion, the services. Inside of settings, this is what I was talking about here. Watch for new USB devices, that's off. So that it doesn't like auto-connect new. If I buy another Stream Deck, it won't do it automatically. Enable connected X keys. I don't have any X keys devices connected to this computer, and so I don't necessarily want that selected. But enable Stream Decks. That's the device that I'm using for a Companion on this machine to do all the things that I'm doing. So that is a cool little thing that you can turn off and on, and there's also a couple of other device styles that you can get. So here is my main page now for the audio setup with the X32. I have all sounds, so that is mix bus 1. Okay, that is technically a mix minus microphone. So that's everything that the soundboard picks up. Where's the soundboard? Everything. Yeah, everything that this soundboard runs, everything but the microphone. So all the channels but the mic. So I can play music, which is, I'm hearing this, but you're not. So I can play music. And I can raise that and lower that as I need to. I'm just going to mute it for now, but it's a little bit strange. Oh, it's because we're doing, no, how are you receiving this? Music only. Which channel is this? Let me look here and see how I have this configured because I'm drawing a blank. All right, so give me a minute here. So this is mix plus 4. Oh, I know why. So what? Okay. I'll get into this in a second. All right, so mix bus 4 is this, music only. What I should be using is this one, all sounds, which is, I believe, mix 3. So if we do this, yeah. All right, so then if I mute it, it turns off. Okay, so that makes more sense. I turned on music only prior, and that, yeah, that screwed that up for sure. So we can hear that. Yes, I know you can. So, all right, here's the deal then. So we are routing now just 3 inputs from the X32 into vMix, and I'm using all inputs from the X32 now. So I'm routing all audio through X32 into vMix so that I have independent control of each of the channels, and then it's mix minuses. So we have several mix buses. So this is mix, which is left, right, which is what I'm listening to. All right, this one is mix minus microphone. And so I don't hear my voice looping back. The microphone is not going out main left and right. That's a pure mix bus that's then going out back to the computer. I have a mix minus browser sound. So when I'm using StreamYard and audio is coming through the browser, so through Brave, I don't want that audio going back to the browser, right? So when I'm interacting with somebody on a live chat, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to send them their own audio. So I remove their audio out of the browser, mix minus browser, and I just send them back all my audio. I think my microphones, my microphone is in this one. So I can send them back that channel, and that'll be my voice and all my computer sounds. So the music and everything. And then this is the mix bus of just music only. So it's everything off minus music. So, all right. So then I can leave, so all sounds, like I can mute this here and run this audio. And that should not be going out the master, but I can hear it in my headphones because that's all mix minus microphone. Okay, so it's showing up in vMix as playing, but it should not be going out to the show, which I can verify that real quick. Let's go back here, live. Yes. And that should not be going out the master, but I can hear it in my headphones. Yeah, so it's just my audio, which is interesting because I can hear it in my mix, which is unfortunate. But then I can just bring it down here, and then I can turn it on here. So now if I bring up the music, okay, it shows up on the show. So it's really handy to have as long as I remember exactly how I have it routed. But then I have my microphone going, my microphone at left, right, which it's only a mono, but because you bring them over in pairs from the computer, on the computer, I have the input being listened to by an output. And that output then is going into an input here on my X32, which is, I think it's channels 1 and 2. Yeah, down here, channels 1 and 2. Channels 1 and 2 are listening to this microphone, and then that microphone is getting routed and sent back. And so that's how I'm able to take that microphone and then bring inside vMix. I bring my first input is my microphone, and that's then I'm able to route that in through the show. So I also then have control microphone. So if I need to bring it up or down, and I can monitor those levels. So if I'm going to put that here on 0 so that we're level, and then I have a really short gate on that channel just to deaden the audio that's coming out, so you can watch the output when the gate turns on. Because there's a fan running in the background, my son is playing in the background, and I just want that to go quiet. So every time I stop, it's a slow gate, but it closes it quickly and it opens it quickly, and that works really well. I still don't have my sound effects, which I really need to sort out. I have them here somewhere. Does the X32 have a direct out function that can route over USB to vMix? Yes, so there is a USB left and right option, but I want to, there's so many outputs on this thing, digital outputs on the card, that I'm capitalizing on those first. Now, the next step is, which I've talked about before, the next step is to actually get the Dante card and replace it. Whoa. Where did I go? Sorry, everybody. The next one is to get the Dante card and to replace it, and I should really pay attention to vMix when I'm cutting, and replace it with the USB, like the USB one's in right now, and replace it with the Dante one. And then we can route everything through controller and bring everything in over Dante and probably get a virtual card, sound card for this machine. But then everything could run out of Dante, and that would be a really cool network, a network option. So that's great. Now, some things that are coming up, by the way, on this show for future shows. The first is, you may have seen, I've recently purchased a new set of headphones, and I want to give them a decent review. These are the Mi Audio Pebble headphones, and unlike the other ones that I have, which I don't think are in here actually, the ones that I have already are the ones that have the earpiece that go in and get covered in like wax. These ones are actually flat. They don't actually have an earpiece, and so they sit inside your ear just like this, and it doesn't actually go into your ear canal. Now the difference with these and those initially on paper is that they are not sound isolating, where the other ones are like somewhat sound isolating. These ones are not. I am headed to Nashville this weekend with my family, but we're going to take a plane this time, and I will give them a good test run this weekend, every chance I can, and then we'll see how they do. We'll see how they do in the airplane. I will take my other ones because sometimes we get seats next to the engine, so it could be really loud, but I want to definitely give them a test. And so next week, I'll give a review of my likes and dislikes of that product, Mi Audio Pebble. Let's see if we can focus. There it is. The Mi Audio Pebbles, and they're really comfortable. One thing, I need to cut my grass. Need to try and do it before I leave, but the weed guy just showed up, so I may have to leave it until maybe tomorrow morning or Tuesday when I get back. It's going to be really long if I leave it by Tuesday. Anyways, I need to cut the grass, and so I wear sound isolating headphones that are just regular lawn, ear protection. And so these ones don't sit in your ear. They kind of sit in the crook of your ear. And I want to see what it's like wearing those, lawn ear protection headset over these. They're kind of like, if you ever do any like shooting or clay shooting or whatever, and you wear ear protection, that's the type of headphones I wear. So I'm gonna give a little review next week. That'll be next week's show. Hey, I was referring to the direct out function, which sends that one channel out bypassing all buses or mixes, commonly used by AVIOs and in-ear monitors. It does have a direct out. I mean, multiple ways, and you can route it that way too, by the way. So it has a USB left and right output, but all you do is do it in the routing. If you want all of it to go out one way, then yes, you can certainly route it. I mean, the X32 has a pretty substantial routing function, especially on the digital side of things. So if you wanted to do outs 1 through 6, you can go direct out auxiliaries, or where is the USB one? It's in here somewhere. Is it card? User outputs. I saw it in here somewhere. I forget where it is. But I'm quite certain you can direct out the USB, because there is a... Where is it? It says USB outputs left and right. Hey, do you run? I'm curious on how those headphones do with activity. I don't run. I do sometimes use a rowing machine, and so I could give you an update. Maybe that'll be my motivation to get consistently back on the rowing machine. The other ones work pretty, but they tend to come out a little bit. And I'll leave this again for the review. But they after some time and you're moving, they tend to kind of like get loose. And so these ones don't sit in your ear. They sit kind of like they do, but they're just kind of like in that little crook. So I want to give them a go and see how that works. But yeah, time will tell, and I will try and I'll try and do some exercises and let you know when we do that review. The only other thing that and there's one other thing that I want to talk about, and now of course it's lost on me. Dang it. Okay, I'll remember it. But I do know that is the first show we're gonna do next week will be about that. So let's talk briefly just about, I mean, I've already shown this a little bit as to how this is routed. All of the sounds, because I want to like actually give this legit sounds. Here we go. So in here on my sound card, we are running Bueller. What on earth? This doesn't normally take this long to load. Is it under here or something? Where'd it load? Oh, there it is. Okay. Jeez. Yikes. That took way too long. Okay, so let's reload this and this. All right, so here, this is where it gets a little bit confusing if you're new to this, because you end up, you know, having to deal with inputs and outputs. Remember that your X32 or your soundboard or whatever is an external device. When you're using the interface on this computer, it's still an external device. So one of the places where I was getting really messed up, and I ended up having to write some stuff down because it was really annoying, was remembering that the inputs here are sounds that the computer is hearing, and the playback is your outputs. And so this is, where is it going? Okay, so I have a Behringer UMC 1820, which is the top unit here on this, and that is my former audio interface for my microphones. Now it still is, all right, but my microphone goes through the DBX, the 2086 S DBX, what is it called? Preamp and processor, and I do some basic compression there. All right, I also amplify the signal and add phantom power out of this, and then I also can adjust the gain on the back end. So you go all the way down the channel. These red flashing lights that you see is the compressor actually working. It's only -3 or -6 at any given time, just to keep that ceiling. I'm just touching that ceiling at all times, basically. And then there's also like a de-esser. There's a low-level enhancer, a high-level enhancer, and then an expander and a gate, which I don't use on this device because I use that here inside of the X32. So we're going out, we're coming in on the recording tab, right? And this is where you're going to see things like my microphone. And then so these are sounds coming into the computer, which are outputs on these devices, on the things that are external to the computer. The outputs are going to inputs, and the inputs from here are going to outputs. All right, so it's try to keep it a little bit straightforward here. So I use several setups here. Okay, so first you can see I have multiple outputs going to the X32 for specific purposes. Now this says Spotify, but really it's music. All right, now Spotify is one of the things that it sends over here, but it's this music channel right here, channels 3 and 4, that are music. So VLC, Spotify, anything that plays, any music player is going to that channel, so I can individually control them whenever I need to. Okay, so all the music channels there. I'm not normally playing multiple music devices at the same time, so that's not normally an issue. This is the web browser. This is Brave and Chrome. Any sounds that Brave and Chrome make go out this source over to this device. This is the RE20 going over to this device. Now I'm not too sure why this doesn't have. Oh, you know why? Because I think I routed this differently in the end. And then my computer sounds. So my computer here, my main output is, come on now, you can do it, is right here, is set to computer to X32. So that's everything else. Everything, all the other sounds my computer makes is going over to comp left and right, which is channel 7 and 8, which is right here on the, oh, I'm sorry, you guys can't see this, for crying out loud. Jeez, John. So channels 3 and 4 are Spotify, but also music. And then 7 and 8 are the 7 and 8 is the computer sounds. And then my RE20, this microphone right here, is coming in on channels 1 and 2. And so it's going out of my computer because here's what's happening. My microphone is going into the DBX and then into the UMC Behringer UMC 1820. And then it's coming into the computer, all right, on this, in this range right here. So I think it is, where is it? Input 3 maybe? Where are we? RE20, yeah. So the RE20 is going over to the UMC, which is then coming back. Do not use 1 through 8. That's funny. Jeez, even now I'm like, wait a minute. So my RE20 is going into the UMC 1820, okay? And then it's showing up over here inside the X32 as its own channel. So where is that microphone? What am I listening to it on? Recording. Let's open this, listen to this device, RE20 to X32. So play back this device through the RE20, then over to the X32. So now, play back RE20 to X32, okay? This is sending it here to channels 1 and 2 because this is channels 1 and 2. Cancel that. Look. Properties. Will it load it? It doesn't show it here. Where is it? It says which one it is. Output 1 and 2 right here. So outputs 1 and 2 are these two inputs right here. So that's why it's getting that info. Okay? So it's coming out of the UMC and it's being listened to by this playback, which is an output. It's coming into the computer from the UMC and it's going back out through the RE20 X32. And then it's going here to channels 1 and 2. And then I'm mixing that, I'm sending that to the mix minuses and all that and coming back to the computer. So sounds like a lot, but this way I don't need to have an audio interface, for example, on the Behringer X32. I don't have an S16, I don't have a DL16 or a DL8 or anything like that. All I have is these devices, the UMC, the DBX, and the X32. So because I have no physical interface that talks directly with the X32, I'm using the Euphoria, I'm coming over via USB, and then I'm rerouting that back to the X32 and I'm controlling it that way. So easy peasy, right? So simple. So then it comes back into vMix, which then I can share with you, this rig. All right, so now I'm into vMix and these are my channels. So my microphone, which is strictly just that return feed from, oh, I shouldn't have clicked this. I should click on the source. So the microphone, which is mix bus 2. All right, so we go back here. Mix bus 2 is mic only. This is mix bus 2. And then here in, back to vMix, yoink. Here, mix bus 1 is all sounds minus mic. So it's mix minus mic. And then mix bus 4 is an optional that I have just for the music if I want to bring it across. So in theory, now I don't have to run any audio stuff out of vMix. I don't have to mix out of vMix. I don't have to do any of that. I can level everything right inside the X32 and just monitor things over in vMix to make sure that they're going out at an appropriate level. Because I find, this is just my own personal preference, but I find the actual mixer in vMix to be a little too digital, a little too not consistent, we'll say, with what I'm looking for. So I'm also, yeah, okay. I'm also wanting to be sure that I am getting adequate sound, you know, that my microphone is an appropriate level, that it's, you know, and I can do all of that in a much finer detail. Oh, and by the way, I even get a visual RTA EQ on each of these. And so if I'm too bassy or if I'm too tinny or whatever, I can turn that on and, you know, put the low pass on and really limit down what my voice sounds like if I need to. Now 51 hertz, you probably didn't notice much of a change, but there you go. You can do so much more, which is the purpose of the device, right? So I've said this in the past before, is buy the thing to do the thing you need it to do. try not to buy a jack of all trades. And if vMix is all you have, and vMix is not cheap, by the way. So somebody gifted me a copy of vMix, and forever I am grateful. But vMix does mixing and switching really well. But then the audio piece is also not like, it's not at the level that an X32 or, you know, whatever another device is going to be at. So if you have the option to have something like an X32 core or a rack or something like that, where you have a digital board, you're just given a lot more options in the future as to how, you know, how it will work. Definitely splurge on that Dante card. I put one in my Midas M32C1U rack mixer. Which X32 do you have? It doesn't have XLR on the back. Even the rack version has XLR, I thought. No. So the core, I have the X32 core, which is the 1U rack mounted unit, and it is straight up no preamps, no nothing. It is just all digital. So that's why I'm routing everything through USB, which quite frankly, I'm very happy with. It works very well. So all good. Jeremy confirms it would be worth to splurge on that Dante card. All right, well, I'm going to have to save my pennies because it's like, what, $400 or something like that? And I will save my pennies and do that. Now, the issue is that if I do that, then I need to probably also get a virtual sound card, right? And I should probably get a Dante device because, so that's like another $200. So to get all in, I'm probably looking at a $600 investment to get into the Dante realm. That's not the end of the world, and it does give you like hyper clean audio, so I'm all about that. I would really like to have that, but you know, to each his own. Hey, I'm gonna solo this microphone channel, and I'm gonna turn up my monitors, and now I'm gonna play with this EQ for a second. So that doesn't change anything. I'm not producing any audio. Why isn't the RTA running? Okay, there we go. So now let's see when we start noticing a change in my voice. There it is. Somewhere in the 200 realm. So we're going to add a little bit of body back to that. Let's just do 100 hertz. 101. Okay. So we can roll off the bottom end. Don't necessarily have any data. And all that's going to do is add sound that I don't need to process. So we could really roll off the bottom. That's for both of these, by the way, because they're both tied together. And let's see, let's get that RTA working again. I also have a frequency. This is the low frequency. I don't want to mess with that one. Let's just zero this out. This one, I'm going to Q3 this. And then I want to put just like -6 dB here. Because if I'm listening, it's really hard to do this with your head voice, by the way. But there is check. Yeah, there is this low end. Maybe we can do this. And yoink, to start with 3. I'm just going to pull this back slightly. Let's do 6 dB. Let's start there. Just trying to like clean up my voice a little. Well, then if that's there, all right. Whoa. You guys are probably listening to this on your cell phones, so that probably doesn't make any difference to you. But it definitely makes it takes out the nasally sound, that's for sure. I do have a de-esser on this, and so there really isn't any need for me to take out anything in like the 2000 hertz range, which is more over here, which is traditionally where those S's and T's, the sibilance problems occur. So I don't need to do any of that because that's already done on the processor. Now, I could essentially eliminate the DBX at this point, but I own it and I paid good money for it, so I don't really want to eliminate it too much. It actually is great because it guarantees that I'm sending an adequate level of volume over to the mix that I'm using. So it guarantees that, like, I can visually see it on the DBX. I can visually see that I'm sending between -10 and -20 audio, and I can adjust that on the line in, the gain on the line in for this particular microphone. So I can provide a phantom power independently, and I can bring in ample audio, and then I can actually mix it correctly down the line, and then just adjust the output that I need, which is actually -10 dB. And what's really interesting about this is that you would think that on the DBX, if I have -10 dB here, I would turn that up to 0 and then turn this down by -10. But what that actually does is it eliminates a fair bit of the volume for this microphone. And so it doesn't show up on the actual, light scale, if you will, but it doesn't show up on the level, the dBu level. So I have to set it this way in order to get the lights to cooperate and to, actually be feeding back. And then I just dial it back to whatever I need. So I can actually increase the gain here by a fair bit and really, get this too loud. But -10, -9, somewhere in there is where it seems to make the most sense. And then I can just solo this out. So I can hear this, can turn down my monitor so it's not so painfully loud. And that seems to be pretty good. So I listen on Yamaha studio speakers, so it's totally tracking all that you're adjusting. That mic is so much better with a flat EQ. So if I just kill this entirely, it sounds better now? Does it sound better now, or does it sound better now? Does it sound better before the EQ, without an EQ, essentially? Which, should I kill does the low cut actually turn on? I think it does. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Yeah, it totally does without this EQ button. So what about the low cut filter then? Because there really isn't any data below 100 hertz for this microphone in this studio. It just doesn't make any difference. I don't think it does. But when I turn that off and on, I get noise in that range. Like I'm picking it up in my headphones when I turn it off. But when I turn it on, it cleans it up pretty fast. Whereas if I talk now, there's like an echo and like there's a slight reverb sound of this room, but also it sounds busy in the background. And then if I turn it on, it's a whole lot. My voice when I speak is a whole lot clearer. Now, that's partially because I've got a gate on here. So if I turn the gate off, now you can hear the fan running, probably. If you turn up those monitors, you can hear that fan running in the background. And when I turn it on, it eliminates it. It's obviously there when my voice is on, but it's not... Yeah, no, it's better totally flat. That mic sounds so smooth and full when it's flat. Okay, this is good information. It's good to have a second opinion, everybody. So if we kill the low end, take that out, which, by the way, on the X32, you can do all of those adjustments here inside the channel options. So if you want to turn them off and on, you can do that here. If you want to make those... If you want to actually make the tiny adjustments, you actually go to that page. But the channel page has a lot of options here, which I really like. I like the fact that the channels, it shows the whole, the actual map of the channel, and you can go in here and make adjustments on the fly. So, yeah, I have made these changes with the gate. I don't really want it to close. Well, it's so hard to tell. I kind of like it with the gate short like this. So it closes the channel, but it only goes down to like 25 decibels, right? Which I like because it opens faster, it closes faster, it gets to 0 quicker. When you change this range all the way to 60, then the gate takes a really long time to get all the way down. So I like it more like 20 or 25, somewhere in there. and it closes really quick. It just kills all that like background sound so that it's not bleeding over. Proper gain structure is important. There's a reason everything has a 0 mark. That's where the lights want to be. I agree. That's where the lights should be. You can see here, though, on this microphone channel, when I stop talking, there is noise, right? Like down here at -50. Oh, it's actually like -40. And so we could move this gain to like 38. And then that would kill any of that background sound. It's fast enough, but... There it is. That threshold. Problem is you don't really want your threshold to be like right on the cusp. I find I want it to close and stay closed regardless of the sound. So I keep it pretty high. And my decibel rating is going to be in the 18, 15 range. So when I speak, the gate should open, and it should open quickly. But I don't want you to hear the fan in the background when I'm thinking or not talking. Maybe low cut at 70. All right, so we'll go back to the EQ. We'll change this low cut to 70 and we'll turn that on. Now you tell me what you think. Again, it just gets rid of that extra, and I actually think it brings my voice forward a little bit, but I may also be imagining things. Oh, I just realized, why is this so high? Hang on. I think, oh, I just discovered a problem. All right, hang on. All right, we're going to turn the gate off for a second. I just realized that this was not at 0, and it should be. I was looking at this mixer, and it said 11 additional dB, which is not what I want. So here, I want to get this up to... I want to get this... Check, check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yep, right in there somewhere. Okay. I don't want to add additional gain at the board when I have all this headroom here on the preamp. All right, so now we're going to put the gate back. What does that low cut sound like now, Jeremy? Okay, so my threshold is going to be like, let's do 30 decibels to start. All right, and let's see how that behaves, if that works again. I've got the levels back. I didn't need to really change anything on the gate. But I'm definitely getting more volume, so that means the threshold needs to probably be higher than it was before. So if I say 25 decibels, then if I move around, you know, it doesn't pick up that stuff, which is really annoying. Yeah, low cut at 70 sounds good. All right. Again, super helpful to have a second opinion here. Now, the other thing that this DBX does is it allows you to turn up what they call the high frequency detail and the low frequency detail, which gets a little ridiculous, especially with the register of my voice. It gets really heavy, which is not required. So I'm going to leave it there. But the high end can also get really nasty. So I try and keep that down as well. Because the high end parts of my voice are not the thing that I want to bring out. You know, you can also adjust the hold setting to adjust how long it waits before closing the gate. Yeah, I guess my thought process there is I kind of want the gate to close fairly quickly. You know? It's an eternity. But we could say like 150. Why did it say 158? 150. What? 150 is what I pressed. It was set to 100. And I like that. But is that too fast? I don't think it's too fast. It seems like that last setting lowered your noise floor. The trim level adjustment. Agreed. It's really hard to EQ your own voice in monitors in real time when you're hearing your head voice. It's brutal. Right now it's set pretty high. I'm usually in the 40 to 80 range. Yeah, I had done some research about that, and a lot of guys had said that they set theirs at 100 to start. And so I was like, well, I'll try that out and see how the X32 does with that. But if we want to go, let's go right in the middle of yours. We'll say 60. Why? Why 63? Oh, my word. 63. All right, so now I'll solo this again. I mean, that's pretty quick, which I like. It definitely kills. It definitely kills that fan noise that was still happening when I was at 100. So I'll leave it at 60. We'll try that out, see how that goes. That's a good recommendation. Okay, so that's essentially all the changes that I've made, and now we're getting into finessing microphone channels and stuff like that and making them sound good. The other thing that I need to chat with you about, though, discovery that we made with the studio converter. So as the title suggests, we were messing around with our studio converters over at the soundstage down in Nashville, not last Sunday, but the Sunday before. And we hooked them all up, got them all working, ran them on Sunday. Everything worked fine. And then Sunday afternoon, went back, did some work and whatever, and I just played around with them, tested a few more things, and then packed them up for the week because there was going to be an event in the space that we were using. So we wanted to be sure that we were clear out of there. Well, anyways, they go back on Sunday morning after the event, which was Saturday night. They go back on Sunday morning, they plug everything in, and like 4 major things were not working. They were having microphone issues. The cameras didn't come back online. And the ProPresenter had switched to turn the audience mode off of ProPresenter. It was a total mess. So scrambling around, of course, I take a phone call and I remote in on my iPad and I'm trying to set things up and trying to figure out what on earth is going on. Well, what we ended up doing is we fixed the microphone issues. We fixed the ProPresenter one, but we didn't get the cameras back online. The brand new BlackMagic, like 6K studio cameras. The G2s, I was really frustrated with that because they make the world of difference when it comes to image quality versus like the DSLRs that we used to run all the time. So anyways, our backup plan is we have a couple of Sony PTZs up in the, like mounted up in the back of the room. And they're our quick fallback. If we've got a problem, we fall back to those. And so we ran the whole service. They ran the whole service with those PTZs because we couldn't sort out over the phone what the problem was. Well, the executive minister, who's also one of the technicians, he went back there on Tuesday afternoon and started poking around. And on the back of the studio converters, there is a port that you plug the Ethernet cord into the camera. Okay, so it's a PoE++. It's a 90 watt. It's almost PoE max, but it's a 90 watt. Oh, I just remember what I want to talk about too on the show. I'm gonna write it down. It's a 90 watt PoE port that runs all the camera stuff. You go SDI in and out of your ATEM into the converter. Then the converter sends that information over the Ethernet, and it's a 1 cable connection, kind of like a bird dog camera, where it's 1 cable provides power, control, your autofocus, all that, and all your coloration settings and everything. So it's a cool little design. I really like the broadcast cameras from BlackMagic, And I'm kind of excited to see this new camera that they just launched for a fairly competitive price. So I've been watching reviews on that, and maybe we'll talk about that in the future when the future comes to that point. So, all right, got that written down. Now, what had happened was on the back, there's also a little port that says TalkBack, which is RJ45, and Control, which is RJ45. Now, according to the manual, the control port is the network port. This is a port that you plug into to allow network access. And inside the studio converters, in the menu, there is a option to set the DHCP IP information that for the device. So we plugged them into the little network that we have there and got it all set up and ready to go. Well, when I did that on Sunday afternoon 2 weeks ago, what I did not know is that if you provide either internet or power, I couldn't figure out which, to that control port, it kills the communication to the camera out the other port, out the PoE, plus PoE max port that does 90 watts. It stops communicating with the camera there. And the technician went in there on Tuesday and unplugged the network connection from the control port on the back of the studio converter, and the cameras came online. I was so annoyed because that's me. I did that. I plugged them into the network thinking these are network ports. We're going to get IP addresses. Now, when I plugged them in, they did not take IP addresses. And I thought that's odd, but I may not have this set correctly. And I didn't give too much thought to it. There isn't, however, anywhere in the manual where it says, don't plug these ports in. They're not used yet. Come to find out, they're not even integrated yet in the current firmware. They're not used yet. And if you do plug them in, if you plug the internet port, the one that's going to be for internet, probably 2110, if you plug that one in, it's going to stop the device from functioning. I couldn't believe it. I mean, it was so annoying because we'd spent so much time trying to figure it all out, and then come to find out, me plugging in the network port to the network port, a network cable to the network port, ended up killing the whole thing. And so on Sunday morning, we had multiple things going wrong, but this was a major one because we just made a pretty big investment in these cameras, and we want to start using them. So the technician went in and he unplugged those just to test, and the cameras came online. And then he plugged them back in and they stayed on, that's what happened to me. So he plugged them back into the network and the cameras stayed connected. And then he rebooted the system and they didn't come back. And so then he unplugged the control port and there they came back. So there is like an open ground or something going on with that port that kills the camera feed. Now, what's really interesting is it can't be an open ground because the camera's still powered up. Okay, so the BlackMagic cameras that were plugged into those converters via Ethernet over that camera connection port still powered on. They just didn't send any data. So I thought that was very weird. I can't wait for BlackMagic converters to get the 2110 update. I mean, it's pretty exciting. Yeah, it'll be very exciting to see what that enables for us to do. FYI, the gate may be a little too fast. It seems to be cutting off your vocals a little bit. So the gate is too fast. So let's change that hold. I'm going to go back to 100. You tell me what you think of that at 100. BlackMagic device, enough said. Get some professional converters. I will say the single cable plug-in is something I missed from my Bird Dog days, where I really enjoyed having the ability to just power the camera, control the camera, and do all the changes, everything over one cable. So that I really miss, I really like, and I'm excited that BlackMagic is going to use a network protocol. Really wish it was NDI, but there's a trade-off there, and it's on purpose. So mostly because I think BlackMagic is doing what I think we all wished everyone would do, and they are creating an ecosystem. So they came out with an Ethernet switch, which is so bizarre because it has video switching buttons on the front of it. So you can change it on the preview and on the HDMI out, but it's a network switch. It's so weird. I don't understand. Why they didn't just partner with Netgear and get them to do the 2110 protocol for them and then just say go buy 4250s and not have to worry about maintaining that side of the network. But they're trying to build an ecosystem, and so that I understand. It's just, yeah, a little bit odd. Anyway, onward and upward. Now, there was, if I recall correctly, there may be a live event happening at noon my time today. So I'm going to load this just to see if I'm forgetting something. I might be. I'm definitely forgetting something because I felt, oh, you know what it is? On my calendar. Oh, you know what? Maybe not. So my Toronto Maple Leafs, they won against Boston the last time, and today was the next game. The last I checked, though, the game was playing at noon. So let's just see if that's still the game time or if that was a placeholder for if they had to play the game. Toronto Maple Leafs playing at 8 p.m. tonight at Scotiabank. Okay, so they've changed it because that was a placeholder. So it's not noon. It's 8 p.m. All right, got it. Check. They got to win tonight, and they got to win again on Saturday. So hopefully they can make that happen because they're going to get eliminated otherwise. Boston just hammered them the first couple of games, and they figured them out, and that happens every year. So kudos to Boston, but I would love to make it to the second round. That would be great. So, okay, that's happening, but not right now. Sidebar. So, the BlackMagic stuff, I'm really excited because the technician got it all working again, and we're headed back there this weekend. We're flying out tomorrow evening, and we're going to do some recording with my wife, and then we're going to be there for Sunday, and we're going to take care of a couple things Sunday afternoon. And we're going to spend a couple of days there, and then we'll be back. So we'll come back on Tuesday morning, and be back to the grindstone on Tuesday. Did you watch Dan's video where he showed the X3 and the X1 was faster than the 240? I have not seen that. Where did he post that? I believe it now because I've had multiple sources and people on the inside say, oh yeah, HX3 is faster than full NDI. And I was like, wait, doesn't that screw things up for... Why? That was like the selling point for full NDI. Does that mean you're done with NDI HX or... Bird Dog. Oh, did you see that? When was that launched? 16 hours ago, so it's this one. All right. Let's get this sorted here so that you guys can watch it. We'll do a little watch party.
NAB Show 2020.
Can you guys hear that? You can hear that, can't you? All right. I'm going to go full screen. I'll provide a little commentation over it too.
The preeminent event for the entire media and broadcast industry.
Right here in Las Vegas. Ashley with In Broadcast. Joining me is Dan of BirdDog.tv. Nice to see you.
Great to see you again.
Yes, you too. So tell me, what's your company's current position right now in the media and broadcasting industry?
So in terms of our position in the industry, we've been really instrumental in how NDIs come out. We were the very first people to put NDI into a piece of hardware, and we've really been developing that over the last 7 years now. So for us, innovation has always been with what we're doing, and we keep finding new ways to make network-based video production more convenient, easier, more cost-effective. So at this show, we've got some really great new examples of that. So.
Okay, hang on one second. I need to get this vMix Socials out of here. All right, let's
So
go
tell
again.
me about some of those. You have lots of new products. What are you highlighting right now?
So we've got a lot of exciting stuff. So we're mainly known for our cameras, and we've got a great new range of cameras. They're called the X series of cameras, and so they're now Wi-Fi based PTZ cameras that work with NDI. And that means you can put them anywhere, as well as running them on a network if you wanted to. It's got a whole bunch of new convenience features. The tally light that we've got, you might be able to see it behind me, is a really big bright tally light, so you know exactly which camera you're looking at. Makes the talent look a whole lot better. It's got an e-ink display on there, so you can see from a production point of view which camera is the right one. You can even brand that up with your own logo. And then it's got this cool new feature where you can actually decode video back off the camera as well. So if you had a teleprompter, for example, you just need the camera, and you can take the output of that camera as your teleprompter output, and it allows you to have everything kind of built into one. And the beauty of working with networking and NDI is you don't need to have all these cables and mess, and we keep finding new ways of getting less and less cables, which is fantastic. So the camera range is probably one of our more exciting things, but we've also got a great post-production story as well. Last NAB we announced Adobe integration within our cloud platform for remote over-the-shoulder editing, where a producer can monitor things anywhere they are, talk directly with the editor. We've now got that for Avid Media Composer as well with their new panel system. So it's a really exciting way for a producer and an editor to collaborate using our technology anywhere in the world. They don't need to be in the same edit suite anymore. Yep.
Wow, lots of things. That's very cool.
And the one last one, which might be a little bit curveball, is our medical solution. We've got a product that we called Remedy, and that product allows you to do that same kind of collaboration I was talking about with editors, but the interface and the way it's designed is to work in operating theatres. So surgeons and specialists or medical device companies can train people on how they do things inside an operating theatre. So it's a really easy to use interface that uses all of our technology with wireless cameras so people don't get tripped over on cables. It allows a lot more knowledge exchange in that medical space. And that's becoming really popular in operating theatres, as like I said, as well as medical device manufacturers for training. So, yeah.
That was super cool. I love all of that. Very neat.
Great. Yeah.
I feel like it's very different from everything out here that I'm hearing.
Yes, there's a lot going on.
Can you tell us a little bit about what to expect in the future? You already have so much currently, but
Look, I think for us, it's all about bringing things together to make a production more easy and convenient. One thing that we have seen with people shifting into network-based, you've got a different kind of skill set that people need, and so having that learning that goes on, being able to get something that works successfully on a network, maybe not be as easy as people think. A traditional broadcast engineer doesn't necessarily know how to administer a network. So for us, we're now moving into how that can really be a whole lot easier to manage and make it easier to get the system up and running. Acknowledging that our customers don't want to use our products because they look cool, they want to get an outcome from it, so making that as easy as possible. The other thing really, buzzword everywhere, is AI. So we've got AI built into our new cameras that do auto framing and auto tracking, but I think there's a lot more that can happen with that.
BridgeTech.tv, what is
that's
that?
really where we're heading. So.
sounds like you're ahead of it. I love it. So thank you so much for speaking with us today.
Really happy to be here.
Thank you.
Okay. What is Broadfield. What is BridgeTech.tv? All markets. Bridge technology. What? So first and foremost, great interview. I mean, quality of the video was awesome. Audio was good. And the pitch was precise, which I really like. I mean, Dan's really good at that. Okay, that was the wrong website they posted on there. It's somebody else's company. Anyways, great pitch. That was a very informative, that was every announcement that they had going. And that was a good video. So well done. Well done to those who produced it, and well done, Miley, for a good presentation. And I think it portrays, Dan's always been really good at portraying excitement over the next thing that's coming. And so the fact that these products, I believe they are shipping, because they said end of April and it is May 2nd. So I saw online that they said shipping now. So that's good news. Those devices are out in the wild, and hopefully we'll start seeing some real world footage of those in the near future. The other show that I'm going to do, and I'll post a thumbnail for it later today, maybe, is I had a conversation with John Hinkle over on LinkedIn, who is the he's one of the lead salesmen for the AV line of the Netgear switches. And I asked if he could send me a demo, and he agreed. And so he's really swamped right now post NAB, but as soon as he gets a chance to do that, he's going to ship that over. Once I get that, I will start exploring other things other than NDI, but I will try and get a switch in this office that is made for those AV things. And partly because I am doing some freelance stuff for folks with networking and NDI mostly at this point, but setting up AV networks so that they can use their cameras. So have a couple of guys that have reached out to me, and we've just done, like I said, just some contract like freelance work. And what I really need is, I told John, I said, what I'm really looking for is something that I can set this up and practice and make sure that it's right, keep it up to date, know what changes are happening, all that. And he said, well, I have a demo that I can send out to you to borrow or loan, and we'll arrange it. So hopefully I will see that in the next month or so, and we'll have a chance to get that into the rack and test things out, get it started. I am really tempted. This is a good half rack right here. Really tempted to get a larger network rack because I'm running out of space, and I'd love to have this audio rig installed because I have no need to have it mobile at this point. So I'd love to install that into the network rack in the audio section, and then have the whole thing operating behind me or something. So I'm thinking about moving my room around and changing some stuff. So all of that is on the horizon for what is next. So it was over on Facebook. It's the same video I checked. It's most likely because the 240 wasn't code optimized and they took their time. Oh, so that wasn't, but he didn't actually show it. Oh, well, hang on then. He didn't actually show it now that I think of it. I thought it was the same video, but the one that I saw that was posted was that one, was that interview. So let's jump back. Bird Dog. Be on Cloud 10, out now, new features, introducing NDI routing and a Avid plugin for Bird Dog Cloud 10.1. All right, I'm going to look for that video that you said he does a comparison. Live video gear roundup, latest from our friends at B&H. Where did he post it? Man, no, because now I'm way back. I'm like April 10th. That's pre-NAB. Filters, let's do this. Clear filters. Where's the timeline option? Jeez, I hate this. And I used to be an administrator of this page. Yeah, he didn't post it. Find out more here. Wait. Wait. Oh, this is maybe a little misleading. The 1X and the 1X Ultra, aren't they HX cameras? Somebody wrote, does it have NDI? And they said, yes, of course it has NDI. Josh Bernstein said, it's a Bird Dog, it has NDI. And NDI is here on the promotion, but I thought it was an HX camera only. Does it actually ship with just full NDI as well? I didn't think it did. All right, well, I don't see that video here anywhere, so it must be in a different subgroup. It's Dan in a lab clapping in front of both cameras. I'll paste the link. I pasted the link above. Okay, I got to go over to YouTube to see that. Just over in socials. All right. Excuse me. Do. All right, so that didn't actually come through on YouTube. All right. Let's go to, am I still in the Bird Dog user group? Maybe that's where it is. I may not belong to the user group even anymore. The Bird Dog user group. I have to ask to join this group. Okay, I will ask to rejoin. Maybe I got kicked out. Maybe I left. Your membership is pending approval. Do you own or are you looking at Bird Dog encoders, cameras, or softwares? I do not own anything. Does your workflow incorporate NDI devices? Yes. NDI router. What else do I use? NDI webcam. Make up a new animal from two others. This is holdover from the Eamon days. Make up an animal from two others. All right. So I will wait. It's probably in the user group, which is probably why I can't see it. All righty. Well, that's fun. I will check that out, and we can watch that next week. I would love to see the comparison. So I am going to do a full reset on that Netgear switch when it arrives, and I'll do a setup and walkthrough of my own because Bird Dog possesses all of my training material for that. So I'll cut that up and post that on my YouTube page and actually do a full-on lesson about all that and then make that available. But we're going to take a look at some of those Netgear products. These are 4250s. I think they're just the, what was the number? 4212P. So they're just the standard, entry level 125 waters, which is great. That's all I need. And we will, we'll get it started. But I'm really excited because if I do end up getting Dante stuff, then I'll be able to set up a Dante VLAN and have that all working together. So pretty excited about that. Okay, it is 12:15. I need to now move along and do some work. And so sounds like my wife is home because my son has stopped walking in here. And we will check in with you guys next week. So thank you so much for hanging out with us and keeping the conversation going. Improving my audio on my microphone as always. Always appreciate that. Any pointers is always good stuff. I sent it to you over on LinkedIn. All right, let's check it out on LinkedIn real quick. Give me 1 second. If LinkedIn will load, my computer's doing a whole lot of stuff right now. So, okay, a new message. Who could that be? John is currently live. That's what LinkedIn says. Come on. You can do it. Load it up. Boy, this is a struggle bus in here. My render time is a little high, so I'm going to close down some screens. I need all these. Okay. Bueller. Come on, man. Whew. Okay, here we go. Facebook link. Dan's X1 comparison video. You are now leaving LinkedIn and headed to Facebook. If you trust the link, select it to continue. This content is not available right now. When it happens, it's usually because the owner only shared it to a small group of people. Are you in some exclusive club? That's why I haven't seen it. Because I'm not in that club. Okay, well, we will figure that out. I'll find it. I'll have Josh add me to that bird dog group, unless he doesn't want me in there anymore. And we'll go from there. So take care of yourselves, everybody. Always a pleasure to be with you. Thank you for spending an hour with me today. We will we'll do an actual product review of the Pebbles next week. So stay tuned for that. And depending on when the Netgear Switch shows up, we'll start doing some training on that as well. So feel free to reach out to me over on YouTube or on Facebook or on LinkedIn or any of those places. I'm all over those. Look for Jono Canute. That's where I am. And if you got any questions or anything like that, I am doing freelance stuff. So if you need a network consultant or you just want to hand the network to somebody that knows how to set it up, feel free to reach out, and I can definitely help you out with that. So otherwise, take care of yourselves out there, everybody. Be well, and we will see you guys shortly next week. I got to find this all here. We will see you all next week, hopefully on Thursday at 11 o'clock Eastern time, right here on YouTube at Jono Canute. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.